Hi Caroline, it's Una here. I just wanted to give you a short video to help you with the maths class for this week. So you can see there the percentage problems that you got last week. So I just wanted to show you the solutions for those in case you had any trouble with them. So I'm going to switch over here to the whiteboard. And the first one you see there is 20% of 140. So like we said, 20% always means out of 100, so that means 20 out of 100. And you can always find 1% of something, which is 1 out of 100, by dividing the total by 100. So in this case, we have 140, and we're dividing it by 100, and we get €1.40. So 1% of 140 is €1.40. So all you have to do then to find 20% is multiply 1%, which is €1.40, by 20, and you'll get 28. So that's step 1, as we referred to in the picture last week, and that's step 2. Okay, and you do the same thing for all of the questions there. So again, 48% of 120 this time. 48% is 48 over 100. 1% is 1 over 100. Always is. Okay, so step 1, get 1% of 120 by dividing, sorry, I have a typo there, by dividing 120 by 100. So that becomes €1.20. So that's 1%. So all you need to do to find 48% is multiply 1% by 48. So here's our 1%, 120, multiplied by 48, and you get €57.60. Okay. The next one then, number 3, 63% of 175. So again, the same 2 steps. So we're going to divide 175 by 100 to get 1%. Gives us 1.75 or €1.75. That's 1%. So 63% is 63 of these. That's step 2. 1.75 or €1.75 by 63 gives you €110.25. Okay. And the last one there, 86% of 210. So again, we want to get 1%, so we're going to divide 210 by 100, and we get €2.10. And then to get 86%, you just multiply 1%, which is this, by 86, and you get €180.60. Now we were saying in the class, Caroline, that if you saw 86% of something, 86% of something is fine. That's €180.60. But if you wanted to find out, say there was a sale and there was 86% of something, you'd take this amount of the original total. So you do 210 minus €180.60. But if there was this much of something, I think you'd be a bit suspicious. You'd wonder what was wrong with it, okay? Because it's quite a high percentage to have of anything, okay? But if you were asked what's 86% of 210 people, that's a very valid question. And you could figure that out if you want. It actually works out obviously at 180.6 people, but you can't have 0.6 of a person, so it would be 180 or 181. But when you're talking about money, if there's 86% of something, you might want to be a bit suspicious. Okay, so that was the first thing we did. Then we moved on to looking at word patterns. Okay, and I think I have sent you the photos of what we were looking at. So let me just go into a document that I've made with those patterns. Let me just skim down here for a second. There we go. So we put all these fractions up on the board. Okay, so we had a half, a third, a quarter, or a fourth. And once we go beyond a half, a third, and a quarter, we call our fractions by the same thing. There's always a TH at the end. So this is a fifth, this is a sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth. And I've skipped a few, as you can see here. So 1/16th, 1/25th, 1/30th, and 1/49th. And you wouldn't be too concerned about the spellings of those, but the important thing is that you get this TH at the end, okay? That tells you it's a fraction, okay? And you can see that that's a pattern that starts at a quarter and goes on the whole way through, no matter what number you take. So that's an example of a pattern that we see in maths and in the spelling, okay? Other patterns we see are when we're talking about thousands of something. So if you are taking medicine, for example, you're going to take maybe, say, Calpol for a child. And I know adults can take Calpol, but if it's a liquid, you're going to be told to take a certain amount of milliliters. If you think of a litre of milk, okay, you don't want to be taking that much medicine. That's a lot. Okay, so what you will be doing is you'll take milliliters. So our Calpol spoon, or our medicine spoon that we would have at home when we're kids, is 5 milliliters. Okay. We looked at the pen that we use for the board in school, and we measured it, and it came in at 140 millimeters. Okay, so when you see a milli in front of something, it means it's 1,000. It means 1 over 1,000. Okay, there's our TH for 1,000. So this is 1,000th of a litre, and this is 1,000th of a metre. Okay. When we talk about kilos, though, okay, kilos are 1,000 times. Okay, so milli 1,000 times smaller, kilo 1,000 times bigger. So when we're talking about kiloliters, that might be something like a water tank, something that holds a lot of liquid. Or kilometers. Okay, Drogheda is about 30 kilometers or kilometers from Dundalk. Okay, so when we want to describe a measurement as 1,000 something, we use kilo. If we want to describe it as 1,000th of something, we use milli. Okay, so milliliters is 1,000th of a litre. Kiloliter is 1,000 litres. Okay, so I hope you can hear the difference there, and we'll go over those again because they are important. So we talked about that. And what else? So these are the homework percentages for this week. So I think you have a photo of that in the post from Irene. So again, use the same step 1 and step 2 as last week to work these out. They're similar questions to what you had for homework last week. And the other thing I want to show you in this document then is just a few more pictures that we looked at. These are web searches, okay? And when you look up kilo, like we said there, a kilometre, 1,000 metres. So you see it down here, kilo and litre, 1,000 litres. Kilo and watt, so that's what you see, your power usage, so your electricity usage. You use this many kilowatts. That means 1,000 watts, okay? So that's kilo. So that's just to give you the technical definitions that you find when you look it up online. So let's go down to the next one. I'll tidy this document up before I send it to you as well, so don't worry. Milli, there's our milli again, okay? So milli means in the metric system. Okay, let me find the proper one, the one that I like here, this one down here. Woo, sorry, this will help you. In weights and measures, because this is where we see it in maths. A combining form meaning 1,000 millipede in the metric system used in the names of units equal to 1,000th, okay, of the given base unit. So if we are talking about a metre, when we're talking about millimeters, it means 1,000th of a metre, okay? I will go over this again, so don't worry if you don't fully get what I'm talking about. So, and I'll put a little table together that we'll review next week that we will prompt you to say, well, if I see kilo, that means 1,000. If I see milli, that means 1,000th. If I see DEC, okay, so what do the words decimal, decagon, decade, and decathlon have in common, okay? And it tells you here, they all start with the prefix DE and mean something to do with the value of 10. Decimal, counting system based on number 10. Decagon, a polygon with 10 sides and angles. A decade is a period of 10 years. A decathlon, competition in which an athlete competes in 10 events. So when you see DE and DEC a lot of the time, it's to do with the number 10, okay? And there was one other one which I'll show you actually live here. Give me a moment till I find out the correct website. Okay, and we did this little exercise. Okay, this is to do with the number 100. Okay, so and you can click the words here for the definitions. I'll send that link to you in the email that I'll send the link for the video to as well. Okay, just let me check something here. Yeah, we're okay. Okay, so century, a period of 100 years. Okay, 100. Okay, 10 tens are being 10 more than 90. Centenary, of or relating to or completing a period of 100 years. Centenarian, being at least 100 years old. Okay, so what I'm pointing out here is where you have words that begin with C-E-N-T, 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 you're usually talking about something to do with 100. Okay, so if we look further down here, found a few nice ones. Let me see, what does percentage say actually? Yes, a proportion in relation to a whole, which is usually the amount per 100. There's 100 again. Percent. A proportion in relation to the whole, which is usually the amount per 100. Same thing. Where did we see? There was one called centurion, I think, was there when I looked yesterday. I can see it. Can't see it at the moment. Oh, here we have a few more. Just trying to find some relevant ones here. There's so many of them. But you get the idea. C-E-N-T means 100. So you can play away with that website. I will send it on to you. Okay. And the last thing that we did then before we finished up was we went through the worksheets from last week, the homework from last week. So you'll see, sorry, give me 1 second, Caroline. Sorry. So you just have to find the matching pictures for the patterns here. And actually they had left out deck chair. They didn't give you a definition. So that's deck chair, as I'm sure you noticed. So we had watch, keyboard, spring, football. Guys gave me a bit of aggro about that one as well. They told me it wasn't a good picture of a football. Paper, basket, and deck chair. Okay. And then we spoke about patterns that you can see in this picture here. Okay, so I'm going to let you look at that this week and see what patterns you find. And we basically described what we saw. Okay, so it's a floor plan. So you can pick out the patterns that you recognize in there. And you can draw one if you want. Caroline was really impressed with your answers actually to the portfolio pages. The one about the shadow was a lovely answer. So we'll talk a bit more about that next week. But yeah, if you want to use any of your artistic skills, which I know you have, you can certainly draw one of the patterns in there. Then we went on to talk about linear and non-linear patterns. And basically, linear patterns have straight lines or almost straight lines. And non-linear patterns don't have straight lines. Okay, so you just fill in on the pictures here whether you think it's linear or non-linear. So you use L for linear and N for non-linear. So for example, the rose doesn't really have straight lines, so we put an N here, whereas the trees in the forest here, they're quite straight, so we'd be talking about an L for linear. So you can finish off the grass and the leopard. And for homework, then the same thing on this nice coloured one here, okay? So where you have straight lines, it's an L, and where you don't have straight lines, it's an N. So you can just write the L or the N either beside the pattern or in it, whichever you like, okay? And you can draw your own pattern if you want, okay? So that is what we did this week. So that's it, Caroline. Let me know if you have any problems with that, and hopefully we will see you in class next week. Okay, I'll email you the link to this and any of the other links that I spoke about and that Word document so you can flick through those different pictures. Okay, have a great weekend. Talk to you soon. Bye.